Hello, my village. It's your coach Monique here. I'm going to give people a few seconds to join in and catch this live today. And we'll see where we go from there. Today's topic is what question not to ask a mother or single mother. And we're going to get started soon. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, guys. I'm just sharing it right now to my my Facebook group.
Hey,
that's my son, Dacian. He wanted to say hi.
On YouTube.
He's my walking advertisement. He's like, I wanna get on camera with you today, so I'm gonna think of some stuff I can do with him, and he can join in, and we'll see how that works. Oh my gosh, yes. You know what, Jeffrey? A lot of people get that question. Like, I had a friend that was suffering through cancer, and she got that question, and it like really hurt her spirit. It's like, I don't ask people, even if I know or think they're pregnant, I do not ask that question. Like, how far are you, or what are you having? I am so hesitant to ask that that type of question. Hold on, I'm still sharing it on my Facebook page. But yeah, that is a question some women get. And most of the time it's a horrible mistake. But I'll get started. Just in case some of you guys don't know, I am Monique, Coach Monique. I work with parents. Get away from me. He's trying to come on with a Batman costume mask, like this kid. But I work with parents, mainly bringing the family back together. Excuse my son in the background, he's being really silly. But basically I work on bringing families back together. I have a co-parenting program in which I help parents learn to reestablish bonds, communicate, and have a better life for the child, because it's not about them, it's about the child. And I help them learn how to compromise and come down and create a plan on being able to coexist in the child life, because it is very important for both parents to be actively involved in a child's life. I also help parents with kids with behavior issues, being able to balance that work-life balance, especially single moms, is hard. Like, sometimes you just like get so out of whack and to the point where you don't even know how to bring it back together. So I help them bring that focus back to being able to have me time, still enjoy life, and be able to go to work, leave work at work, be able to come home, and bye. Go. He's bugging me to go outside, even though it was raining. Every time it stopped raining, he's like, can I go outside for a little while? Like, this kid. He's been driving me crazy about going outside. And now he's standing at my window. This little boy. Oh yeah, he's good. He's a really good kid. He just likes to be involved in the business. Like, I let him create his own kids group where I coach kids once or twice a month. He went out and recruited the kids on his own. He's like, Mom, I want to, since you said you're building a legacy for us, like, I want to be involved in the legacy. So I told him, come up with an idea and we'll work from there. So he's like, well, how about we, it took like a week. He came back with me and said, how about we create a group for kids? He's like, I know kids' problems, and I can help you with that. So that's what we wound up doing. And we started with the kids in my my apartment community. And parents started coming to my door like, oh, your son told me about this program, you're coaching the kids. And I just started talking to parents. And that's how that was birthed. And he loved YouTube, so I have a YouTube channel. Now we're trying to find ways where he can be involved in us recording videos, because he have his own YouTube channel and he just loves to be on camera. He's very silly. He have a really crazy personality. He's very outgoing, and can talk to and with you about any topic. So he's not the normal 9-year-old. I told him if he don't be a politician or a lawyer or something when he get older, like there's a problem. But he can negotiate himself out of anything. He's such a charmer. But back to the topic. Yes, work. I was like last year. I had to learn how to deal with time management and work-life balance, working full-time. At the time, I had 2 businesses, my online boutique, and I was an independent distributor at It Works. I was in grad school and a single mom. And I used to literally work like 70 hours a week, but I still found time to add in vacations because sometimes I do need a break from reality, and I cannot go without taking a break. But I used to just work until the point where I'm burnt out. Like, have you ever heard the statement, "Are you home when you come home?" Like, I literally would be here, but I'm not here. And I worked from home, and I was homeschooling my son. Actually, yeah, I was homeschooling my son at that time too. But somebody asked me that, like, "Are you home when you come home?" And I'm like, no. Like, I'm here, but I'm going through the motions. And I used to say, like, I'm here, but I'm not here. Like, I'm not here mentally, but my body is on autopilot because I was in that burnout stage. So I had to learn to, like, start scheduling what I can do on what days, especially when it came to my business. Like, right now, I eliminated the online boutique, and then I started my coaching business. But I still do independent distributor for It Works only because I have distributors under me that are on my team that I coach for the business. So I didn't want to just abandon my team and all my loyal customers. So I'm just a silent distributor, and that's in the background. So that business runs itself. I don't have to be as active in that business like I do my coaching business. And so I decided to pretty much tag me your videos. I'll definitely share. Oh, thank you. And you can also, I put the link in my description of this video of my private Facebook group. A lot of the videos are there. And I share some of my YouTube videos on, I think I share some on my private page, but most of them are in the group or on my business page, which is Monique Atkins Coaching. I'll try to add the link to my YouTube channel. I haven't posted in about a week. I try to post at least a video a week, but I have so many videos to record. I have so many topics. So I'm going to start doing that. I also have a blog. But I have been so busy talking to clients. People come into me with different situations and basically building my client list. And time management is very important with coaching because I have to fit in sessions to be able to coach my different clients and be available to email them, respond to messages I get and emails on a daily basis. So that's been something I have finally mastered over the last year. I still work a lot. Like, I literally, since I came back from vacation on the 17th, I have not taken a day off. I've worked, this Friday, it'll be 81 overtime hours, plus my regular 40 hours a week. So it's been like really crazy. When I tell y'all I'm coming on early so that I can get some sleep today, because it's the first day in like 15 days that I haven't had to work the morning and the night shift. But I'm just trying to work hard and plan for another vacation in July. So that's why I'm doing so much overtime. But I have a free schedule right now since I'm not working with as many clients, and I'm basically rebirthing my coaching business, redoing my website, everything. So you will see a few changes on my website, and you will also see a few updates in my pricing. My pricing is going up, so if you guys are trying to work with me, now is the time, because after May, my prices are definitely going up. I have one-on-one sessions available where I can work with you one-on-one, and I also have group sessions, and I have my co-parenting program, which include the 4 one-on-one sessions, as well as my guide to co-parent like a boss ebook and my co-parenting contract. So I also have another ebook, 5 Steps to Change Your Child Behavior. So there will be some changes and some services added to my website very soon. So if you do want to have that discussion, I do give you a 45-minute free session. You would just email me or message me to schedule that time, and we'll talk about if I'm the best fit for you, if I can help you with your situation, and we'll go from there before my prices change, because they definitely will be going up. So back to the topic, what questions not to ask a mother. Me personally, as a single mother, the hardest time was when I was pregnant. I went through my whole pregnancy by myself. Well, family was there, but my son's dad was in the military and he was deployed. He was deployed even when I gave birth. So I was going to the doctors by myself, everything, finding out the sex of my baby. If it wasn't for my village, which is my family, I don't know how I would have got through my whole pregnancy alone. But I hate it the most when I go to the doctor's appointments and the doctors are like, "Oh, where's your husband? Who said I was married? Like, don't you got my doctor's record?" Like, that really bothered me, because I felt like I had to be married in order to have a baby, even though, like, I didn't want to look at my son as a mistake and like, oh, it wasn't planned. It wasn't planned, but I did what I had to do. So that was my first thing, like, where's your husband or your child's father? Like, do it matter? I'm here. Let's get this appointment done and over with. And like, I used to hate that. I'm like, I don't have a ring on my finger, and why are you guys asking me? And like, that was the hardest part, because I was already dealing with that personally myself, with my emotions and feeling some kind of way about going to the doctor by myself and things like that. And then with them asking me those questions, it made it worse. So you're already emotionally unstable and everything, and it's just like, thanks for bringing that up and reminding me that I got to come here by myself. The second question was, I hate it when people ask, like, how do you do it? You do all this stuff, you have all this on your plate. What do you mean how? Like, I don't have no choice. Like, what other option do I have? I have to do it, especially as a single mom. It's like, I'd be like, what do you mean, how do I do it? You just do it. I don't use excuses. Like, I don't say, oh, have that poor me syndrome. Like, oh, I'm a single mom, you should feel sorry for me. Like, I need your help. That wasn't me. I'm a strong woman. I push through. I do what I got to do to take care of my child. I do what I got to do to bring in income. I'll start however many businesses I got to have to be able to have a great lifestyle for me and my child. I'm going to have it. And a lot of people didn't understand that. And I used to be like, what do you mean, how do I do it? You just do it. Like, they're like, you're going to school. I went to school online just to prevent not having childcare issues and no excuses. So it's like, you can do school from anywhere. I just had to set time to do homework and school him and work and run my business. That was just it. You just move things around, you adjust, and that's it. Another question is, I hate being asked, is, when are you going to have more kids? Like, are you serious? Like, it ain't that easy being a single mom, and I definitely want to make sure the situation is going to be right the second time around. I'm not trying to be a single mom twice or 3 times. I'm not trying to have a ton of baby daddies. I want to be married, and that might be an option to have another child if I have a husband. But this time around, it's going to cost if you leave. Like, I'm not doing it on my own anymore. I'm not going to sign up for that. Like, I made the mistake once. I'm not going to be stupid enough to make it twice. So I hate when people ask me that. When are you going to have more kids? Don't you want more kids? Yeah, I do. But I don't want to be a single mama twice. I don't want to raise my kids on my own. And being a single mom and never having that experience to, like, co-parent consistently and have that break, or even the financial help, because I never got that either. Like, I don't get child support. I never got child support. And I do everything on my own, literally. So it's like, I already make enough decisions and it's already hard enough. Why would I add on to that and make it more complicated? Like, I'm not going to do that. So I hate when people ask me that question. Like, yes, I want to have more kids. I'm 32 years old. It's almost getting to that point where it may not be an option, but I'm fine with having 1 kid, because I would never go through what I went through before of doing it by myself. I just refuse to do that. So as a personal choice, like I just say, I'm happy with my one kid. He's 9. I never got pregnant or did anything. I was actually celibate 6 out of the 9 years he's been living because I want to make sure I do it right the next time. So I work on myself. I make sure I'm in a position to be able to have a kid before I choose to do that. The next question was, I hate people say, like, how long were you and your child father together? Do it matter? And like in my situation, we were never together. We were childhood best friends. Like, we weren't even supposed to be having sex or a baby. Like, it was just something that happened. And I hate people's like, oh, you wasn't with your child father. Then I feel like now you're judging me. And like, I really hate that question. I did make a list of questions that maybe you should ask a mother. Stuff like, do you need help? You need a babysitter? Do you want a break? Where do you find your strength and motivation? Like, questions like that would help. How do you maintain a balance? Because they will be able to tell you. One thing I do know about parents and mothers, they can tell you how to survive. Even if you do like simple things as far as struggle meals, budgeting, they will be able to tell you like how they shuffle around their daily life with kids with different sports, activities, without going crazy. They'll be able to tell you because they're the strongest people I know. Like, a mother is like a strong person. They carry everything. They keep the household together. They're the therapist, the doctor, like everything to the family. So ask questions like, what is the best part of being a mother? Like, stuff that's positive. What do you want to say to other mothers or soon to be mothers? Like, ask them for advice. Don't give them questions that pretty much are low-key judging them or making them feel some kind of way. You can ask them, what does their typical day look like? So you can have a look into the life or the daily life of a mother. Because a lot of people don't know how much and what mothers do outside of just seeing them day to day dealing with their kids. You don't see them doing laundry, waking up in the middle of the night to clean up, to pray, to meditate. Like, I wake up way earlier than my son just so I can pray and meditate and have that time to myself. I block out like 30 minutes. I'll wait till he's asleep. Even if I have to stay up till midnight, 2, 3 in the morning, that's my me time. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to relax. I'm going to write, journal, finish my book that I've been writing for a while because I'm just taking my sweet time writing it. And it's about my memoir, my journey of being a single mother and the things I wish I knew before becoming a mother, because that would have helped. And making the decision to be a single mom, like, if I probably would have did things different if I would have known what to expect. Like, the journey was not easy for me, especially in the beginning, going through postpartum depression. Nobody really tell you the full truth of postpartum depression and how intense it can get. People brush it off. They're embarrassed. They usually don't talk about that, especially moms. Like, you don't really talk about being depressed. Sometimes some people I've talked to have not like their baby, can't bond with the baby. They have this detachment. You go through the parent guilt. I couldn't like breastfeed. I was sick after having a C-section. My recovery sucked. I had so many complications after, with my incision reopening 2-3 times within the first year, internal and external, having to be at the hospital every day. I couldn't breastfeed my son because he wouldn't latch on, like, because I was sick. I lost like 35 pounds. Within a few days. I didn't eat for 2 weeks. I was just throwing up because of the reaction from anesthesia. It was just so crazy. I never had surgery before. I never got sick. I never like spent the night in the hospital since I was born. So I'm not like a sickly person. I was completely healthy throughout my whole pregnancy. No complications. I lost 20 pounds, gained 20 pounds, never had to wear different clothes. I didn't show until I was 7 months, and I had him at 8 months. And he was 4 weeks early. So it was a great pregnancy. It was very easy. But the aftermath is what I struggle with. And it was really, really hard. But I was writing about that in my book, and I talked to some women about postpartum, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, nobody ever told me it would be that struggle of getting, with your body being out of whack and out of balance and like getting used to having a baby and the real expectations, you're not going to get no sleep. I feel like even with my son being 9 years old, I still haven't slept since I had a baby. Like literally. And how hard it is to lose baby weight after, especially after a C-section. I wasn't allowed to do sit-ups or anything for 5 years. Imagine that. So now I'm ready for my mommy makeover. I'm like, do I wait and have another kid first, or should I do me now? Like, I'm really battling with that right now. I know the answer, but since you're a guru, how do you feel about mothers that miss the tender years of their children's life due to pursuing? I've been there. Actually, I've seen it create a horrible. It's the parent guilt. I talk about that in my book. Luckily, I was able to be home with my son for the first 2.5 years of his life. I worked so hard at work, 12, 14 hours till my doctor took me out of work and put me on bed rest because I wouldn't stop doing so much overtime just like I do now. I prepared financially for my son, and then I started back school when he was like 3 or 4 months. So I started online school to go finish and pursue my degree because I had to stop college while I was working and pregnant because it was too much. I was stressed out, balancing both. So I gave up school for a few months and went back once he was born. But I do know a lot of moms that miss those milestones. Luckily, I was able to catch the first time my son crawled. I was able to record when he walked, only because I was with him every single day. It is hard because when I did go back to work, I missed out on a lot of stuff. Like when he started writing and he started going to daycare around like 1.5 years, he pretty much would start talking and tell me about his day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I had that mom guilt where I was working in the pharmacy because I was a pharmacy tech at the time, and I was working a 2 to 11 shift, so I'm going to work late. I felt like he spent more time at the daycare than he did with me. That was his family. Like, his daycare caretaker was literally, he used to call her grandma. Like, that was family because he spent more time with her than with me. She taught him how to write his name and stuff. And then the ABC, she helped me potty train him. A lot of stuff I felt bad for, and I had that mom guilt because I'm like, I cried a lot. Like, oh my God, my son spent more time at daycare than he would with me. And that's what made me start my businesses, because I said, I don't want to work for nobody. I don't want to miss out on his life. I want to be able to be present in the moment with him. So when he started like the 1st grade and the 2nd grade, I homeschooled him because of that mommy guilt. Him going to before, after care, and school, and I'm going to work. That's when I started working from home, January of last year. Then I started homeschooling him at the same time. But that was partly because of the mom guilt. I wanted him to spend time with me because my son is one of those kids that's very straightforward, direct, just like me. So I can't get mad at him because I teach him to be very open and honest and no judgment zone and come to me however he feels. He was like, Mom, you never have time for me. You're always working and with school. And that just like crushed me so deep. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make time for you. Yeah, you do see the results of those that happening to people. And sometimes the kids become rebellious. Like, I know kids whose parents worked their butt off to provide a luxury life for them, and they were very ungrateful because they're like, I don't care about the luxury life. I want you here, which is the important part. And that's why I do what I do, because I want to keep the families together. I want parents to understand it's not about making a whole bunch of money, providing this special lifestyle that you didn't have as a kid because you want your kid to grow up differently than you. It's about spending time with them, bonding with them, communicating. That's why half of the time we don't know our kid and our kid don't know us, which is why I have my icebreaker family night cards, because we don't spend as much time with them as we will hope, because nowadays it's hard to find one person to carry the household as a provider, especially the pressure that it takes, it puts on the men. It's hard for them to be the provider like it was in the old school days, the moms at home being stay-at-home wives and stuff like that. it got to be a two-parent income household. It's kind of hard not to at this point in time, especially with this crazy economy. So it's like, do you sacrifice the mental, physical, emotional health of your child to make it because of the economy? Or like with me, I wasn't going to let that stop me from, like, finances stop me from being a good parent and having that time with my son. I moved to Las Vegas, where the cost of living was way low. Like, y'all wouldn't believe what I pay for rent for my 1-bedroom apartment. Like, in California, I never paid under 11.20 period for 1-bedroom or whatever, and the most I paid was like $17.40 for a 3-bedroom. But my first 1-bedroom apartment was $11.90 actually. Small apartment here in Las Vegas. I'm gonna give y'all a secret. My 1-bedroom total with cable, utilities, all inclusive, I only paid $4.94 a month. Literally, very cheap. That's why I'm still here. I've had this apartment for 4 years, and I had a 3-bedroom, which was only $1,100 at the same time. Like, I'll switch, go to this apartment, go to this apartment. Like, when I was working in California, I was living here in Las Vegas. I flew to work on Monday, flew home on Friday, rented a room from my sister, and was able to maintain a great lifestyle and still travel a lot, provide for my son. It's not fair to the kids, actually. But here in Las Vegas, that's why a lot of people leave California. They go to Arizona or Las Vegas. It's very cheap to live here. The most in my apartment for a 1-bedroom now is like $505. It's like really, really cheap. I spend more than that on food, eating out every month. So like, my rent, I be telling people, like, I'm not paying a high car note. If that car note is more than my rent, I'm not paying it. Because it's so easy to pay it. It's no brainer. And then I work from home, so I save a lot of money. That's why I'm able to travel and budget. I just want to save to buy a house. So I'm like, I downsized to a 1-bedroom and basically turned my living room into my son's room/office. And we work it out that way. He love it. He don't want to move. I want a bigger place. I'm like, we got to save money real fast because I need to buy a house so we can have my own fashion studio/office. So I can have somewhere to put all 4 of my sewing machines so they can be out of the box and I can be sewing again. But for now, I had to make that sacrifice because I want to buy a nice house, a decent sized house. So, and I want it to be brand new. I don't want to use house and fixer upper. So here in Vegas, that's possible. You can get, even if you buy like a condo or something here in Vegas, it's like $80,000 for a 2 or 3-bedroom condo. It's very cheap. It is easy to get it. The market is so crazy because the Raiders are moving here from California. So the house has been going like crazy. So when I started looking a few months ago, if you don't put in an offer that day or within 2 days, the house is gone. They have less than 3-month inventory here for houses here in Vegas because so many investors are buying out houses. They're doing a lot of Airbnb. They have a lot of income property. So it's been really, really crazy. You too? That's smart. You need to market that. Really, I am going to do like a budgeting class soon, actually, like where you would show people, because I do couponing. I do all that stuff. Like me, I'm a very frugal person. I do not like to waste my money. I like to maximize it to where I can still have a luxury lifestyle, no problems, do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it, and not be restricted financially. Even as a single mom, it's no excuse. And that's the only way I was able to invest in my business and in myself and all these training. Hey, Trina. But a lot of people are not willing to sacrifice, and that's what I talked about the other day, being materialistic, having that, what I call LA mentality. Oh, I gotta have an iPhone, or I have an iPhone and an iPad, Apple Watch, all that stuff, but I can afford it. A lot of people do it. They get these flashy cars. Their car is freaking a mortgage. Like, you don't need that car if it ain't making you money. If you're an Uber driver, then it's different. Your car is making you money. Literally, it's paying for itself. But you ain't got no job, or you barely making $40,000 a year, and you got a car note that's $500-$600. That is not it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like me, I have a Kia Optima, and it was very cheap. And I'm like, I don't drive that much. I work from home. Like, I don't like driving. My car is parked most of the time, so I'm definitely not going to pay a large car note. The most I've ever paid for a car note was like $370, and that was pushing it. I was looking like, that's too close to my rent. But I was like, I like the car, so I needed to do something for myself for a chance. So that's why I bought me another car. But I let people know it's not worth living above your means. And I can care less when anybody say they're like, oh, like if they see me like, you're making good money, you're working a lot, and like this guy yesterday in my apartment was like, I haven't seen you for a while, where you been? I'm like, besides working a lot in the house, we were on vacation. And he was like, where did you go? And I told him. He was like, oh my God, that's my dream. Like, I've always dreamed to go to Paris or London or Italy. And I'm like, it's possible. Then I broke it down to him. I'm like, you can get tickets round trip for a little over $500. If you go in a group, you can do Airbnb. We pay like $100 something a day. We split it between 3 people. We had 2-bedroom apartments. Some sleep 5 to 8 people. Like, I was like, it's possible. And I was showing him how you break it down. I'm like, the flight from Paris to London was like $70 something. Like, it's not expensive as people think. I said 2 pair of your Jordans would have been a round trip ticket to Paris. And he was just looking at me like, oh my God, you're crazy. Like, are you serious? I'm like, you just have to do the research. Me and my sister are frugal. We will figure it out. Like, okay, we don't want to go over this much, so let's see how much this costs. That's why we were able to visit 4 different countries in 7 days. We did 8 airports. We had 8 flights, 6 airports in 7 days. We spent 1 day in London, 3 days in Paris, and 3 days and 2 days in Italy. And then we made sure our layover, hey Precious, we made sure our layover was long in Austria. So we had like a 13-hour layover in Austria so we can be able to do stuff there. And we spent the night there in Austria. But you just have to learn how to save, to budget, to be able to take those dream vacations. Because I never thought I would ever go there until I looked at the price like, oh, this is realistic. Like, I could really do this. And take my son with me, because at first, originally, it was just my birthday trip with me and my sister and my aunt, and I wasn't going to bring my son. And my aunt was like, you know what, he's always dreamed of going to the Eiffel Tower. He's been saying it since he was like 3. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take him. Even though it's my birthday trip, I'll be mom for my birthday trip. So he enjoyed it. He loved the experience, and it was amazing. And I love that I was able to afford to take him. Like, total for me, him was about like $2,500, maybe a little more, but it was an amazing experience. It was way worth it. I wish I would have had some taxes, but I make too much money. I don't really get anything back in taxes. But I tell people that, like, a lot of mothers and families, parents, I tell them how to maximize your tax, your income tax return. People go out buying new cars, getting all kind of crazy stuff done, fixing their cars up, getting cosmetic surgeries and all this stuff. And I tell them, you can do a really good family vacation with the money you're getting back for your kids. Like, you can go and live in social, and you got, so most of those deals, you got 6 months to a year to use it. You can purchase however many trips in the beginning of the year with your taxes and then spread them out throughout the year. So that's what I do. I'll go and live in social and start buying up different stuff on Groupon. They give you a time frame where you can use it. So I'll be like, okay, I don't have the time to take off right now, but I paid for my trip. So I know I have a vacation available to take. I just have to build up my paid time off. Hey, Jen. So I teach people how to do that. Like, I always educate parents. Like, they be like, oh, I can't afford to take my kid on a trip like that. I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you can. How much do you get back in your taxes? Before you go blow it, hey, Jazz, I'm like, plan those taxes and book some trips. Get on Living Social. Get on Groupon. They give you time to use them. You can get an all expense paid 10-day vacation to Japan for $1,200 to $1,500 on Groupon. That come with the flight, your food. Sometimes it's breakfast and lunch. It come with a tourist. your transportation while you're there. It includes a lot, but a lot of people don't do their research. They'll think like, oh, it's impossible. Yes, it is. It's possible. But it's just learning how to maximize your income to be able to take those trips. Yes, Jazz, I love traveling too. Like we literally as a family was like, we got to do a family trip. We're like, oh, let's go camping in San Diego. Oh, let's go to New York. We were saying what we want to do in July. Like, oh, let's book a cabin for Christmas, for Big Bear. And we were planning as a family just literally this week. Speaking my language. Yes. Me, I take time for vacation. I need it. Like, I work so hard. It have to pay off. Like, I literally have to fly. Mo, you find those resources? Yes. Like me, I'll be like, oh, I'm broke. My broke is a different broke than other people's broke. And I'm in a quick minute, it would be like last minute, a week or two, be like, I'm going on a cruise to Mexico. Like, California is only a 4-hour drive for me. They have cruises that leave from San Diego and Long Beach. You know, the cruises only be like $199 plus tax, or $299, and they come out to like $350 maximum for a 3 or 4 day cruise to Mexico. I go on those cruises literally, like, I try to go once a year. And this year I'm gonna take my son because he never been on a cruise, so I think that's gonna be our next trip. Love that. Gotta travel more. Yes, Trina. You gotta explore. Like, I loved when I went to Mexico last time with my sister. We went on a like a off-road excursion. It was scary as hell because it was kind of raining and overcast, and we were in this raggedy Jeep that sounded like it was gonna fall apart any second if we hit a bump. I cruise in about 30 days. Oh, where you going to, Trina? But yeah, this Jeep sounded like it was just gonna fall apart, and we're off-road, like nowhere near anything. We were in Ensenada, and we was driving all the way up towards Tijuana to go wine tasting at this winery. The winery was so beautiful. I don't even drink, but I just wanted to go because my sister wanted to go. She was like, let's go. It's our 30th birthday. And so we went off-road. It was so crazy. The lady was educating us on like the cost of living in Mexico, and I'm like, I wonder people run away when they're running from a crime or something and go live in Mexico, because their cost of living was way cheap. You could live it up for like $250 of our money per month in a nice place. And it was just like, I was like, oh well, I might do that, like take a month off and go live out of the country somewhere and just enjoy. Like, I would definitely live in London for sure. I really fell in love with London. Like, I was thinking, like, how can I get off work for a whole month to go live in another country for a month just to relax and get away from reality? Sometimes it's needed. It's a really good idea. Like, I always have to have a break from reality before I go crazy. And that's why I like cruises, because you don't really have no signal. You don't know what day it is, what country you're in. Like, nothing, what time it is, because half the time you have to pay extra to use your phone on the boat. Like, sometimes they charge, like Carnival, it was only $5 a day, but you only could use social media. So they'll give you social media access. Going to Belize, Mexico, Turkey. Oh my gosh, you know my son, dad is from Belize. Like, my son wants to go there, so one day. I love Mexico. I haven't been to Grand Turk or Mahogany Bay. Into the odds of Belize, but I love cruises. Yeah, see, Trina, now you make me think I want to go somewhere else. I only do Mexico a lot because it's just right there. I'll drive, and it's really cheap, so I'll be like, oh, let's go on a cruise, and it's always last minute. So I pretty much love to travel. I live like right at the border of being in Las Vegas. You go one way, you're in California. You go 30 minutes the other way, you're in Utah. 30 minutes the other way, you're in Arizona. So, like, I take trips to Arizona to visit friends. We drive to go hiking in Utah. Like, it's a 35 minute drive. I can go to, what is it? It's different parts in Utah where I can go visit, and they have Groupon deals and living social deals for hotels. So it's like I always tell people, just get in the car and drive. Me and my son would be like, oh, it's only an hour drive. I used to commute an hour and a half each way in California when I went to work, so I don't mind driving. I will soon have a dual residency. Oh my gosh, in Turk and Caicos. Oh my gosh, Susan C, those are goals. I want to have a dual residency somewhere, but I definitely want to try, like, staying in Amsterdam for a month, like going to the Netherlands, the Philippines, because my job is in China, they're in Japan, they're in the Philippines, they're in Mexico. I can still work from home in any of those countries. They're in London. So I was like talking to my supervisor about how much I love London. He's like, you know, we have work from home there. I'm like, yeah, I know. I can work there. And it won't change anything. All I have to do is get internet there and I can still do my job from London. Where were you, in Lancaster? No. I live in Las Vegas, and I usually go to, my family is like in the Inland Empire, in Rialto, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Compton. I grew up in Compton in LA. So those are usually the places I go, and I grew up in Long Beach, was born in Long Beach, been by the beach my whole life. That's what I definitely miss about California, because Nevada's the desert. We don't have beaches. They have lakes, but I don't do lakes. People be on their jet skis out at the lake and stuff, and not me. Thailand is your goal. See, my twin nieces went to Thailand because they're half Thai, and I kind of want to go there. I'm like, they've been there before me. Okay. I'm talking about when you commuted. No, I commuted from Compton to Irvine every day. It was only like a 30 to 45 minute commute, but with traffic, it's double the time. And I commuted from Riverside to Cypress when I was working in a pharmacy. So to live good and not be in the hood, you have to commute. Most of the good paying jobs was in Orange County. So a lot of people commuted from LA or from the IE, the Inland Empire, to Orange County to get money worth working. But I did that for years. When I was pregnant, hey Lucinda, you can catch the replay. You know we be going on for a while, so I was trying to make this one short, but we be going on for a while, you already know. It seemed like lately, like I used to be terrified to do live videos, you guys, until I started doing them, I think like 2 months ago. And y'all noticed, like, my first few videos for like the month of February were like 9-10 minutes, no more than 15 minutes. Then it started to be 30 minutes. Now it's been an hour and a half. I'm like, oh my gosh, seemed like every week my videos are getting longer and longer, and I be trying to keep them short, but then that never happens. And y'all who know me know I can talk. You sure will. That's good. Just do hashtag replay whenever you do, and you can just leave your comments. I do read all the comments, so that is something I do go about, all my comments, because sometimes we get suggestions and things like that in my comment. But if there's other stuff you guys want me to talk about, like, I can do some research. Y'all can give me some ideas as far as like vacation spots, and I'll do the research on what's the cheapest way about getting there, and on a struggling budget, a single mom budget. But I'll do that for you guys, because I love you guys, and you guys have been very interactive, and I love all the suggestions and the questions. I have like a ton of topics I need to talk about, or record videos, or blog about. I finally will have a day off after working 19 days straight next week. So I'm taking my days off next week. I'm off on Mondays and Tuesdays, so that's why I do my videos usually on Monday. But because the new month started today, and I was going to be sticking to like the mommy topics for this month because of Mother's Day, next month, oh my gosh, it's the men. Let me see what topics I had for the fathers. I got my planner, you guys. I have to plan out all my topics so I can know what I'm talking about. Actually, I don't have anything on the calendar for June yet, so June is blank. Men, give me examples or topics you want me to talk about for fathers, and different issues you want me to go deeper on. I'm gonna start trying to do live question and answering, so that you guys can get an idea how it is working with me and getting those answers to certain questions that you might not have time to send me offline, or you can send it to me offline anonymously. I won't say who sent me the message, but just go ahead and message me or email me at moniqueatkins12@gmail, or just send me a message through Messenger. I am on there under Monique Atkins. That's great. So proud of you. Thank you, Lucinda. I really appreciate that. Like, I love you guys' feedback. I love you guys so much. But yeah, give me those topics. I won't announce who sent the topic, but I will discuss it, because sometimes it might help other people. So you never know. So don't be afraid to send me the topics. I love a challenge. You can make it as complicated as you want. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to talk about it or give you guys resources. Either one. But is there any other questions, or do you guys have any other topics you want me to discuss today? I can look and see what other topic is mother related that I can talk about. Unless you guys are ready for me to go. I know one person wanted me to talk about co-parenting from a distance. Being that I have a lot of experience with that, because I do have to co-parent between here in Las Vegas and my son dad being in Florida. It depends on the year, because I've had to send my son to Mississippi when he was stationed in Biloxi. Last year I sent him to Florida. This year he's moving this month actually to Texas, so now he's going to be in Texas. So it's hard because my son have to adjust to each different state that he's going to visit his dad in, and it's not ever the same place or the same house he's going to, or even the same women that live there. So that's another hard part. Dealing with different females, because he got 4 kids, 4 baby mamas. I'm number 3, so yeah, it's a struggle. But it's easier for me and him because we were childhood best friends. So we were never together. There is no feelings, oh, I want to be with you type of stuff. So we never had that type of drama. So it's a little different for me co-parenting versus some people that actually had emotions and that connection and been in love with that person or a relationship. We were friends, so it's easy for us to talk, to communicate, because he knows everything about me. Like, my son will be like, Dad did this and da 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 da, and I'm like, you can't tell me nothing about your dad that I don't already know, and you can't tell him nothing about me he ain't already know, because we've been best friends for well over 15 years. So it's like, it's nothing new. So like, we parent differently, totally different. I talk about that in my How to Co-Parent Like a Boss book, explaining the different parenting styles and how to work with somebody that have a like opposite parenting style as you. And that's also available on my website. I believe it's $7 right now to purchase. But pretty much he's very strict. Being in the military, he's one of those I'm not my child friend type of parents, and I had to explain to him, like, it ain't about you, it's about the child. You don't have to be their friend, but you do got to understand them. Like, with kids, there's no strict like set rule on how to deal with kids, because every kid is different. So I tell him, like, you know, our son is very emotional. He's very like one of those kids who, if you yell at him, he might cry. So it's like, you got to be a little more understanding and sensitive when communicating with him. Don't raise your voice, because his ears shut off. As soon as you start yelling, he don't hear nothing you got to say after that. His ears shut off. He go into his hole, and that's his way of protecting his emotions. So I explained to him, like, if you tell him to do something, like, give him at least one warning if he don't do it right away. Because he used to whoop him as soon as he tell him, like, oh, make up your bed, and he don't make up his bed, so he get a whooping. And me, I'm not one of those physical disciplinarians, unless he did something absolutely wrong, which he don't do, because he's a really good kid. I'm like, how did he get whooped more in 1 month than he have in like a few years. Just being with his dad, like the first week in December, he spent the whole month with him, and he called me crying like, "Mom, I want to come home. I hate it here." And then he's crying. He's sneaking in the bathroom, FaceTiming me because his dad took away his only communication to me. So he was like, Dad threatened me. He told me if I keep calling you that he gonna put me out. And like, I was talking to his dad like, why would you say that to an, at the time he was 8? And I'm like, why would you say that to an 8-year-old? Like, are you crazy? I'm like, what's the problem? Because once my son came back, because I didn't want to be that parent like, oh, I'm coming to get my child. No, because he got to get used to his dad. Like at that point in December, he haven't seen his dad in 3.5 years. So I'm like, they have to establish that bond and work it out together. Like I can't always rescue my son because that is his parent. And I don't want to treat him like an enemy. And I want his dad to not see me overstep my boundaries as a mother and let him be a father. So I can't always step in and take control and be like, oh no, that's my child. Like, no, it's our child. So you guys need to work it out. And I'll tell him, like, don't call me. Y'all work it out. Y'all learn to communicate with each other. It would be nice if some relationships were like that, knowing each other instead of having kids with someone you don't know. Girl, when I tell you, there's women out there that have a baby by a man and don't even know the man's last name to put their name on the birth certificate. I look at them like, how the hell were you having sex with this person unprotected and you don't even know where they come from? You don't know their mental stability. You don't know nothing about their family. You ain't never met no family members. You don't know if they got some crazy genes. If your child gonna come out with disabilities. Like, you don't know nothing. Like, only thing I didn't know about his dad, which his dad didn't even know until he was in the military, and like a few months before I had my son, and I had got my son tested when he was born, was he was a carrier of sickle cell traits. And I'm really particular about that now because I'm not a carrier, but his dad is. Now my son is a carrier of sickle cell traits. So if he was to have a baby with another woman that's a carrier of sickle cell traits, their son will have sickle, or daughter will have sickle cell. So that we didn't know until he went through all his physical and all that stuff in the military, and they told him that he was a carrier. So he told me, and I told my doctor. So when my son was born, we tested him, and he was a carrier as well. So he can't become anemic. Like he was like me, borderline anemic. I have to keep him healthy because if he become anemic, he can have sickle cell anemia and develop it. So I keep him eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, make sure his iron is up so that he won't be anemic, just to protect him from being a sickly kid, because I don't need that on my plate. That's one thing I do not have to deal with, is going to the doctors. Like, we don't even get the flu. Like, me and my son, I don't remember, maybe one time my whole life that I had the flu. And I'm 32. And I got sick from someone else. But my family, we're really healthy. We don't have health problems and asthma and none of that stuff. We don't get sick. And people always like, I used to get angry because I'm paying all this money for medical every month and I don't use it. I use my free annual checkup every year. My doctor look at me like, why are you coming back every year? You know ain't nothing wrong with you. Even with my pap smear, she be like, you don't have to do it every year, every 1, 2, 3 years. Especially when I was celibate for like years. She's like, why are you coming to do a pap smear every year and an AIDS test? I'm like, I just make sure. Like, I'm paying for this medical. I'm going to use it. I'm not going to waste my money. So, like, I see people do it all the time, Jen. Like, they do not know who they're sleeping with. And that's when I tell people, like, that's something, that tell you something about yourself. Like, you need to get your stuff together when you're single and work on you. If you need to be jumping in bed with somebody you don't know. Like, take the time to get to know you and love you enough to be able to take that journey in patience. Like, patiently take that journey. You don't have to rush into a relationship or situationship. And that's how people become heartbroken, because they're not ready. Then they have a baby, and then the baby come up in a dysfunctional household, or they become a baby mama or a baby daddy and then have to raise their child on their own, and there's another broken household. So that's why I try to help people communicate with that other spouse. Even if you don't know each other, you can reestablish that bond and that connection to be able to parent. That's really easy. Yes, and it's nothing else. Don't have no kid. Yeah, they don't need to have no kid. I'm not a person to say, oh, have an abortion if you don't know the person. No, because that's a damaging thing for women too. Like some women get raped, they don't have a choice. Some are molested. That's why communication is really big, and taking care of yourself, learning how to protect yourself. I do boxing classes, kickboxing. Like, you need to learn how to fight somebody, y'all. I'm always ready for any instance. Keep some pepper spray with you, a taser. Me, I'm quick to be like, I would tase you. Go to the shooting range, practice shooting. Like, I always encourage women, especially single moms that live by themselves and don't have a man in the household to protect them. I could teach about the safety, like having a safe to put those things in away from your kids. But I also teach my child how to use pepper spray too, in case he keep it in his backpack. He walks home from school sometime. These people are crazy. They be trying to snatch kids, especially him being a mixed kid. He's the opposite color of me. He blend in with any family. I tell him, like, do not walk off with other people's family. Don't be so friendly to talk to everybody. And people invite you in their house, tell them no. Your mom don't allow it. I'm really old school when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I don't play when it comes to my child. There would be a problem if somebody touched my kid. I will be ready to lose everything and go down for my child, because I'm the only one here to protect him. So I always tell people, like, know who you're dealing with, and it'll eliminate a lot of problems, a lot of broken households, a lot of single parenting. It will eliminate a lot of stuff by just knowing who you're dealing with. Get to know them. Make them wait. A lot of people, I don't say, oh, you got to be married to have a kid, because I didn't do it that way. But if I do have another kid, it will be when I get married, or if I get married. So I just tell people, like, you can co-parent no matter what the situation. I know someone suggested I talk about, like, the subject was, my baby daddy have a crazy baby mama. That may have something to do with him. So it's like, you need to communicate with him, because he's doing something that's causing her to be that way. A lot of times women go crazy because of the man. Some women are just nuts, and I know some good men that have these retarded, crazy baby mamas, but that's their fault. They picked that person. They got to deal with the consequences. But they do need to learn how to communicate and put that person in their place and let them know, here's the boundaries. Do not do nothing crazy around my child. Don't use my child as a pawn. Those boundaries have to be set, and that respect level have to be set by the guy, because it's your life. That's your other extended family. And especially when it comes to kids, because there's stepkids, like stepbrothers and sisters. They need to have that bond. They need to be able to see their parents coexist in the same household with no problems, no drama, things like that. Like, I don't agree with people arguing in front of kids and stuff like that. That is so ridiculous to me, because I be like, y'all can't adult enough to be able to calmly talk to each other, or excuse the kids from the room like they used to do in the old days. Kids don't need to be around adult conversations where you arguing or having disagreements, and they didn't sign up for that. So, like, you as a parent have to get it together enough to be able to handle that responsibility of communicating with the other parent. Let them know, don't show up. I'm in a relationship. This is my other child's mom. Don't show up to my house acting stupid, acting a fool. Get your emotions in check before you come over, or before you call. Don't call no crazy times of the night unless it's about the child. Like, it's just those simple boundaries have to be set. If they can't abide by those boundaries, then you might have to get a mediator or court involved, or a parent coach. Get a co-parent contract if they get it notarized to make it legal. And if they cross or break that agreement, then you can take further action. But you have to come to a place where that person have to be healed in order to be able to communicate or coexist with you. Like, some people are angry because you're messing around with both women. you're promising them both different things. Of course, they're going to get mad when they're betrayed and stuff. You're doing it to them, but you're not telling the other person that's what's. Sorry if it paused. I got a call coming through. But usually the man have to help that person heal, or that person needs to go get counseling or something, or work in their singleness and deal with their self-evaluate, deal with their problems, whether on their own or with someone. But a lot of the times it's because those emotions are still there. They're still being sold a dream, and that's when shit hit the fan, when they find out there's somebody else that you're promising that dream to as well. So I usually blame both parties. Like, the communication is not there between each party. Someone is being misled, someone is misleading. So when it comes to that type of thing, like, I leave it alone. They need to work with someone to come to a conclusion of how they're going to parent that child when that man or that lady have another baby mama or baby daddy. But I'm going to let you guys go. I am super, super exhausted, and I really appreciate all you guys for tuning in. If you come on late and you want to do the replay, just click, just type in #replay so I can know you're coming in to watch the video. I'll be live again next week. What is next week's topic? So next week's topic is dating as a single parent, which is a really important topic. So I'm definitely going to go live next Monday at 6 p.m. I'm going to try to set that as the time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully it's not too late for my East Coast people. But majority of my followers are here in the West Coast, so I'm trying to make sure they're off work, because a lot of people hit me up like, you're going on too early, like I always miss your live. So I changed it to 6 o'clock, and I'm going to try to do my videos every Monday. But I'll tune in with you guys next week. Thank you guys for listening. You can share the videos. That's why I put it on my personal page, because if you're not a part of my group, you won't be able to share it. It's not public, it's a private group. But I also posted in a private group as well. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.